All right, guys. So we are here for the first announcement of our very first student of the month. Okay. Now, this student came in changing the game for herself and for her family. And I'm so excited to be able to have her here to just share her story and share more about what she's learned in the university and just more things that could help you stay encouraged and motivated to get you to where you want to go. I know me personally, having good credit is a journey. Having good credit isn't really a sprint. And my student, Monique, she is changing the game, okay? She knows that it's going to take some hard work. She knows that it's worth the time, it's worth the effort, it's worth the energy. And she wants to share her story today. So, welcome, Monique. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me as a guest and featuring me as a student of the month in Fly Credit University. I really appreciate it, Jerry.
Absolutely. You've just jumped in. You've been learning so much. You've been showing up and you've been really having strides with your credit. That's been amazing to me. I mean, we have a lot of students, don't get me wrong, but you've been really, really digging into it. You've been moving at a very aggressive pace and you're so committed that I just had to bring you on to share more about your story.
And I appreciate that. Being on the Fly Credit journey, it's been wonderful and amazing to see just having that sense of community and being able to share with a fellow group of students that are on that same progression or maybe a few steps ahead of you that you can share and all grow together. So I really appreciate that you provide that outlet for us to learn and grow.
Oh, well, thank you for being there, right? Because joining is one thing. Taking the action, putting in the work, that's another. And so you come in and you've been really doing it. So I want you to just share with everybody. Just share a little bit about yourself first.
Okay. My name is Monique Wade, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I'm a single mom. So I'm in a one-income household. I currently work professionally as a certified medical coder. So I'm, working remotely during this pandemic time, just like many people are right now. I also have a strong desire to help other people. That's something that's just been ingrained in my personality for quite a long time. And I'm really looking forward to being able to share my story so that other people can feel encouraged and not feel defeated.
Oh, that is so good. Now, have you ever felt discouraged or defeated related to when it came to your credit?
Oh yes, and I have receipts for it too. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen to
Yeah,
kind of give you
sure.
a snapshot of how low I've been in the credit journey. Let me
Absolutely. Share away.
just go ahead and hit that button. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. This is like a example of how low I've actually been. This was back in let's see, I applied back in 2012. I applied for a $2,000 loan, right? And if you notice down there under credit score, do you see that number there?
Hmm.
498. That means I filled out this application thinking that I would be approved. And I was totally unaware of the fact that my credit score was so low, nor did I have the employment history to justify even being approved for this particular loan. So that this experience on top of the fact, and I'll just, I can stop sharing now, on top of the fact that just to let everybody know, I've I've been in court twice over credit issues.
Wow.
For a Capital One credit card, I've been in court for student loan judgment back in Virginia. So this has been like an ongoing struggle for me. Like I can actually show that also. I actually had this is what I went to court for here. And you notice there, I show up to the courthouse that day, and the lady that's there, she's you know the lawyer on the opposing side. She's like trying to collect this debt because I defaulted on this student loan, and it was after I had lost my job after the Great Recession. And I went to court, and the first thing I do is I look at the docket, and I'm like, oh my goodness, they misspelled my name. Like if you look at the actual record, which I kept a copy of it, my name is spelled Monigue right
Oh,
here. So the first thing I do is I get there and I'm looking at the docket and I'm like, what in the world? Why is my name misspelled? We get to court and am I still sharing? I could stop
oh,
sharing.
nope. You're not sharing right now.
Okay. And I get to court and I'm like, oh my goodness, they misspelled my name. And she made me seem like I was like a criminal, not the fact that I lost my job in this economic situation. And all I could think about was like, gosh, they didn't even spell my name correct. Like I had no clue about credit. So that kind of led me on the path. That was back in 2011. And that same year, I ended up moving to Vegas. When I got to Vegas, I struggled with trying to get back into the job market because this is the after the Great Recession, I never did get back into the field that I was working in. And when I got to Vegas, I was like, I got to buckle down. So I got a few books. Like this is one of them. I got Debt Free by
30.
30, practical advice for the young, broke, and upwardly mobile. And I literally have notes from then when I got my FICO score. This was September 12th, 2011. My FICO score was 522. So
Wow.
I still had that judgment on there. And then I've got Perkins loan, rehab, repayment. So I had to figure out how to rehabilitate that Perkins loan because I had a judgment on
Right.
my credit report. So just the fact that when you're in the university, it's equipping you with tools to be able to rehabilitate any type of negatives, derogatories. And little did I know that misspelling of my name came in handy because I ended up calling Equifax after I knew the information. I ended up calling Equifax. I'm like, that's not my name. They're like, are you sure this isn't your dad? I said, that's not my name. That is not the name of my birth certificate. And I just was insistent about it. So, or no, it was Experian. Experian ended up deleting it. I took that deletion letter, sent it to the other bureaus, which if you look at my notes, I wrote down FICO score. I didn't even know there was 3 different bureaus. I had no clue.
Wow.
So this has been like a progressive journey, and I'll get back to how we ended up being together. Um, Janu- January 2018, I was working like one of my first medical coding jobs, and the company ended up being acquired by another company. So the new management comes in, and the new manager, we just weren't seeing eye to eye. I guess she thought that I wasn't doing the work in the appropriate manner that the way she thought I should be doing or whatever. So I had a stressful um, meeting that day, staff meeting, and then I go to my desk and all of a sudden I had this sharp pain. I'm like, what in the world? And I'm normally like a hyper fast walker. And I was like going at a slow pace, walking to the bathroom. Turns out I ended up in the hospital. They had to take me to the hospital. And I found out I had this extremely large, it was a benign tumor, but I had a tumor
Wow.
in my body that started to bleed internally. And I was losing a lot of blood. So when I got to the hospital, they're like, a large tumor was like 4 centimeters. Mine was like 16 and it was bleeding. And the crazy part was like my manager and my supervisor actually came to the hospital to see me. And while I'm sitting in the bed internally bleeding, my supervisor says to me, can we bring you a laptop so you can keep coding?
Wow.
I was like, I
Wow.
was just demoralized. I'm like, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm kind of in the hospital right now, so I'm not really thinking about coding right now. So it's just like these with certain employers, like they just treat you like you're disposable. So it just put in me like this drive to like, okay, this has to be better than this. So I ended up going on a journey where I had to find a doctor that would be able to operate on this tumor because the tumor had like blood vessels going through it, and because um, of my conscientious choices, I was looking for a surgeon that would not use a blood transfusion. So I went to 4 different doctors. That took like a year and a half, and I had to travel back from Vegas to Los Angeles to be able to get surgery. So
Wow.
fast forward all the way to, I ended up leaving that job Like they were stressing me out so much. I ended up being on chemotherapy medication. I lost a whole bunch of weight and they were still stressing me out. It got to the point where I just grabbed my purse and walked out the door. Because that day I came to work, I literally had like some radiology appointments and I got to work and my boss started cussing me out. And I'm
Wow.
just like, nope, nope, we can't do this anymore. And I walked out.
So you walked out.
I walked out. Yeah.
Wow.
So from that point, I started doing the hustle. I started
Right.
doing food delivery for Grubhub, Uber Eats, DoorDash, because I would just wanted to be on my own and
Right.
gather my bearings because I was having all these medical appointments and I just felt like I shouldn't have to keep asking to go and do what I need to do for my health situation, nor should I be stressed out
Right.
about anything work related. So fast forward to the point that was January 2018 where I found out about the tumor. It wasn't until November 1st, 2019 that I actually have definitive surgery to remove the tumor. They had to remove the tumor in my entire kidney.
Wow.
Now, what ended up happening right before I had the surgery in November, my credit score was like 741.
Mhm.
By the time December hit, it was at 522, and I have a screenshot of that. But it was 522 on December 7th, 2019. So I was like, man, I knew I had to get this surgery done. I kind of had to drop everything to make sure I was good. And the thing that hit me very hard was the fact, like, if I don't wake up from this surgery, this is a major surgery, what's going to happen to my daughter?
Mhm.
What am I going to be able to leave for her as a legacy, as support, as just knowledge of how to survive in the world? And that really, it really burned in my heart. And I was like, I have to do things differently. I have to think more forward. And I have to think about what I'm doing to ensure that my legacy is secure. So I don't keep getting in these situations because, I just told you about the 498 and then I'm back to I went to 740, then a 522. It's like
Yeah.
I have to keep going through these things. Like there's something that I'm continuously doing wrong that
Right.
I'm not able to stay financially stable. And so after that point in um, May is when we connected so that I can get the business credit secrets because I was like, I need to work on some kind of business thing because I'm like, these jobs, you just don't know. They treat you like you're a disposable cup.
Right.
So I said, I have to learn how to get this business thing situated. And it brought me back to what I learned in this book too, the 4 Hour Work Week.
Great book.
And yeah, and in the book, it has basically like a architecture system that shows you, okay, well, how can you set up like an automated system?
Yeah. So
Um, you got to get the book. I don't want to tell you everything, but
yeah, it's
it's
a
how can
great
you,
book. It's true.
yeah, but it says in here, how can you set up an automated system? He actually has an example of a website where he's got like paid ads going to it and then it automatically sends the order, and then he talks about having business credit cards with rewards
Yep.
because your highest expenses are going to be manufacturing or your products and advertising.
And
I'm like,
now you have business credit.
now I have I've been able to apply what was given to me in the business credit secrets. But not only that, is like when I went to the first huddle, I was nervous because I'm like, credit is very personal. I don't
Yeah.
know these people.
Yep.
But I ended up learning like where I was credit wise wasn't really considered prime. Like there's subprime borrowers, there's subprime lenders. And the way that I was positioned in terms of my credit report, I was positioned as subprime.
Mm.
And just by being in the huddle, I was able to learn from other people. Because when I heard other people say, oh, I have a $10,000 credit card or whatever, and I'm like, I've never had that before. Like never. I've never had that. And I've had a credit card since I was 18.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that that was even possible. But
Wow.
just to let everybody know, like I started out in the university and I had one of my cards was $1,000 credit limit. And I had it on my spreadsheet. And just by learning and listening in the huddles, that card, I was able to bump it up from 1,000 to 4,300. And then just this week, I was able to bump that up to 10,000.
That's so amazing.
And I've never had a card, that allowed me to do that. And on top of that, I was able to use that business credit secrets to figure out how to position myself to get business credit. So now I was able to get an Amazon Business American Express card to kind of get my foot in the door, because
Yep.
I applied and didn't work, you know, and and then I got that card, and then I was like, okay, well, I know I want the gold card, because remember, this book was telling me about I need to have those rewards. And in the university it talks about use your rewards, build up travel points, travel for free. There's a travel hacker course in there that talks about, and this is old stuff. The reason why you need to be in the university is it's going to give you the new.
Yeah.
It's going to give you what's working right now in pandemic, times we're living in. And, the things that we learned on the huddle, I think another major breakthrough was learning about the FICO resiliency index.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's just so much. There's so much in there, and it's constantly changing. And
It
I
is.
feel like that's what the university is there for, to keep you on top of everything and to make sure that you're always in the know. So, I mean, what would you say, right? You've been in the university since June. Is that right? June of this
June 18th.
year?
That's right.
Wow. And in about 5 months, you got yourself to over 800. You got
Yes.
business credit cards. You're raising your credit limits. I can't wait to see you take your first free trip. That's gonna be
Yeah.
great.
And
But
that 800 club, that was from June 18th. When I started the university, I hit the 800 club in August.
see, you weren't playing no games.
But you have to listen. And not only that, but you have to apply what you're learning. And that's one thing that I really love. You've got a new course coming out. It's actually, it's not coming out. It's out, and we're in the beta group because we're in the university. So it's how to repair your credit, and it gives like a very I would say progressive approach to having that moment where you need to get your head out of the sand and figure out exactly how deep you're in this and
Right.
exactly what's going on, like actually open those envelopes that you've been avoiding. And it also includes this credit repair workbook and the credit repair tracker,
Yeah.
because you can, look at your credit report, but if you're not tracking everything, like if you're trying to get a collection off or something like that, you got to track every single conversation. You need to
Mm-hmm.
know from month to month where you're going and where you've been.
Yep.
So I really appreciate all the tools and resources in Fly Credit University. I've never felt more fly in my life. So I just really appreciate the fact that you put this together, created this community, and not only that, but you're also committed to our success by showing up to every single huddle, being positive and encouraging. And if you just show up, come, listen, take notes,
Right.
and apply what's the information that folks are given, because everybody's journey is different. Everyone's journey is different. You will succeed. Just apply the information. It's not going to happen overnight. Trust me, because I mean, like I said, I had a 522 in December, and now I'm at an 800. But it wasn't an overnight process. There's steps to it.
I appreciate you sharing that, actually, because sometimes I find that, especially on the internet, a lot of people always talk about how, they're raising their credit scores in 30 days, or they're fixing their credit in 30 days. Although that may be possible for some people, it's just not possible for everyone. And just understanding that it is going to be a process, that it is going to be a journey, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. That's what it's all about. I mean, I see what you do in our huddles. We have a bi-weekly coaching called The Huddle, and everybody gets on there. We talk about our successes. We talk about our losses, our struggles, and it's a no judgment zone. And we love it. Is that your favorite part of the university?
Oh, hands down, my
Okay.
favorite part. I look forward to it every 2 weeks, and it propels me forward. Like if I wrote down something, and like we talked about PenFit one week, I'm like, I could use, like, I don't have that many inquiries on Equifax. Where is a bank that I can apply for services? with Equifax. PenFed came up in the huddle. If I wasn't on the huddle, I wouldn't have known that. And I wouldn't have gotten to the 800 club as quickly. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have. There's no way.
That's so great. Thank you so much for sharing your story, Monique. I mean, I see what you do. And oftentimes, unless you know someone's story, unless you know where they came from, it's easy to just speculate and say, well, it's easy for them. It was easy. It was luck.
Oh,
But
no.
it's not. It's work.
Mm-mm.
It's a lot of hard work. It's ups and downs. It's emotional sometimes. And, unless you have someone that you can trust, unless you can lock arms with people that really care, a lot of the times you're just, kind of on your own, trying to
Yeah.
figure it out and wasting time. But if you want to save time, you want to save energy, you want to get results, and you want to do it with the community, then I say join us, the university. What we have in the university, what we've created in the university is about community. It's about credit. It's about upgrading your lifestyle through the power of credit. Credit can be a tool to help you live your wildest dreams. I couldn't imagine, taking trips for free all by using credit, or growing a business and sharing it with other people, all because of credit. We live in America. Credit is important. So,
It's super important.
thank you so much, Monique, for sharing your story. Is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I just want to say that to anyone that's on the fence, it's not an overnight process. If you equip yourself with the knowledge and the tools to be able to position yourself, have confidence when you talk to collection agencies, have confidence when you talk to the credit bureaus, to be armed with the knowledge of the law that's on your side. If they spell your name wrong, they got to take it off. Okay. So just having that information empowers you. And I invite anyone to join the Fly Credit University. Please become a member. Please keep the annual membership, because it's not going to be a one-time wonder, 1 month thing. It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
So join the annual subscription and you'll never regret it.
Thank you so much, Monique. She's like the best, y'all. Like, she shows up to every single huddle, every single one. She doesn't miss one. Monique shows up to every single huddle. She doesn't complain. She doesn't make excuses. She takes notes. She shares her struggles. She shares her ups, her downs. She shares everything. She's very transparent about her goals and where she is. And I appreciate that. And so, thank you, Monique, for being a part of our community. Thank you for being willing to share your story with other people and encourage them to just keep going. No matter where you are in your journey, just keep going. If you quit, you're never going to get there. And, Monique is living proof that you can do it. So
Yeah.
thank you, Monique. I know you got to go. But, guys, share what you've learned in this video. Are you going to go further, faster? And if so, join the university, join us. We're more than happy to help. All right. See you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Jerry.